guess I should turn that down. Here I am. Bingo. InShalla and Ashe. Just saying that out loud makes me feel all juicy. But blessings to you, my energetic being. And for those of you that literally tuned in yesterday, like a sounding fork or a tuning fork, how is your spiritual soul and your spiritual heart vibrating? Sometimes it's a task, isn't it, to stay in the frequency that is really an optimistic venue or on the venue of optimism. There really is a lot of fear being in the driver's seat sometimes. So, for us to be our authentic driver, I was at first musing about like an engine in a car. It's different than a motor, by the way. Then I was like, hey, doesn't a computer have a hard drive? So be in your own driver. Be in your own path, if you will. Call in Uriel as well, just lighting up the middle way where all of these negativities, whether it's a behavior, the unseen, the seen, actually the characters actually play out, and our thoughts or our feelings, anything that disrupts our gateway into the realms, kind of making a commitment to living a future from our heart, the queendom of our own personal hard drive. But it's Friday, January 28th, and welcome to today's daily snippet. Once again, I am your host. I'm a practicing holistic Sha'medium and subtle energetic surgeon, merging the indigenous technologies, the spirit of West Africa, with the subtle energies, elements, and elemental beings, the elemental realm, along with the imaginal. That's kind of my gateway, of course, and then different pathways of power. I do offerings and rituals and prescriptions to add to all the juice into your own personal container. But my intention really is to merge the indigenous technologies, the wisdom of Africa, with the subtle energetic realms, assisting you to navigate your prime directive, reintroducing you to the being that resides within you. My name is Tonya D, and welcome to my virtual medicine room. If you're curious about a message for the day, just share the show. Especially those of you that are liking and commenting. I'd appreciate some sharing if you could. However, I will be sharing a memo for one of you today, so just stay tuned. And again, helping me also helps you. But the message of the day is brought to us by the Oracle of Shamanic Guidance. And first up in the gallery of the gateway, I have what's called the ghost dance. So has anyone ever experienced a ghost dance? So let me tell you, the year of 2022 is kind of going to be a ghost dance, by the way. So this is where the Indians native to the land you're in unite the spirits of the living, those of the ancestors, to bring peace into our world, which is needed, right? So when we honor our ancestors, they actually bring harmony to us. We've opened that doorway, that gateway, that pathway. And when we hold them responsible for the wrongs that are happening for us and to us, they kind of haunt us, so we get the memo or the lesson, whatever that is. So really honoring the spirits of our ancestors, we kind of receive their lessons and their gifts. And this really includes honoring our own past lives even. And they really have a message. Our ancestors really have a message of healing in those cross threads, just bringing in their own unique, powerful medicine that they really want to offer to us and for us. So this message is really to create a sacred moment at our altar, taking time and space with them, lighting a candle, and letting their wisdom infuse into us. It's kind of a stage in our corridor, our life on the earth plane, where hopefully we're done repeating our tragic stories, those patterns, the lessons, if you will. It really is time to step into our light, into our abundance that really they're offering to us, and receive those gifts, the gifts of those that have literally come before us, writing a new story for our life. This really is the message of 2022. And this week is really going to be the silentest week of the entire year. So really fill into those thread lines inside and out, not to invoke fear. Just remember that's only false evidence affecting our reality as well. So it's time to really do the dance. Create a sacred altar and connect with the ancestors, if you will, that innate wisdom. Then we have, this is called Taming the Wild. So you can see the feather Feathers are used for clearing. It's a symbol that's used in ceremonies. They're used for smudging, talismans, and so much more. But it's reminding us for the commitments that we've actually made in our life. Like, it's the remembering during and before our arrival. It's literally the remembering, the memories. But it's also the symbol of consciously bringing the spiritual into the material, and vice versa, I might add, the opposing forces, the flow, along with infusing our world with peace and reverence, and just acknowledging that these higher planes exist, the realms, the dimensions, all of it, the cosmic highway for me. But it's a symbol of entering into the realms within the Great Spirit, the oneness, the source, really whatever resonates with you, whatever you want to call it, to co-create with Creator to the highest elevated good for the entirety of the world, the globe. But the message is to be whole, to be clear, clearing our energy, be in the now, like be here now, be present, be balanced in our soul's harmonics, and to be in the consciousness of how we communicate. So really get a journal, write it in, put it in, our thoughts, whatever they are, write them down, and then make like a map or a puzzle that really links the thoughts together. So when I think one thought, then this thought comes in, and write them down. You're going to start masterminding your map and mastering the puzzle of your life and just putting it all together. You could bring in the feather and smudge your altar, whatever that looks like. It could be your home, it could be your office, somewhere where you want to create this sacred space, creating your own personal ceremony, if you will, giving you vision space to write down your dreams and your heartfelt desires. We are kind of in that realm already. But when we're taming the wind, it's a memo of connecting with just that. Not only the wind, but also the greater spirit, the oneness, honoring and respecting and kind of being vigilant, if you will, in kind of a sacred reverence and a resonance with that feeling and flowing through it, those streams, if you could see them, right? Super juicy. Then we have the child. And, have you ever noticed how little kids know the way to fun, the doorway to happiness, finding the joy, the curiosity? So this is an offering for us to return back to our childlike wonder, the innocence. We're born with this innate wisdom. We're really not that naive. So it's a message to kind of correct our course, to give us a second chance, if you will. It's this offering and like a possibility of redemption, if you will, while entering the realms of heaven, while being on earth. And being that this card is otherworldly, meaning reversed, I think it's a message that we can really get on the correct path, the course of our own personal story of our life without feeling punished. There's no such thing as a mistake, right? Those are just unique ways of, I call them energetic hiccups. They're setting ourselves free from our own punishment, our own way of really suffering, if you will. So the conditioning that life is supposed to be suffering, we were born free. We are born happy. We're born without being restrained. So, we can be so again. And the message is, that is the message. It's a time to choose. It's the now. So the child is going to assist us to climb out of the hole, probably the one that we've dug ourselves into or climbed into and digging ourselves out of, so we can recover our own joys of play and create. And I was actually just musing about the truckers in Canada. Childlike wonder, right? It appears as if it's one thing, but these little kids playing with their big trucks, committed to the non-bullying, really, and just being grateful for those truckers. Really, I wasn't sure what the whole story was. I kind of don't dive into that. But truckers do all the delivering, right? Until, of course, we have the 10,000 drones in the air screwing up the airwaves, but that's an entirely different situation, right? So I pulled another card just for all of you that have commented and liked. So this is kind of a collective card to go with the other ones, but it's the drum. Take it in for those that need it. And this, again, is a bonus for everyone liking and commenting. I see you, I hear you, but the drum is calling for us to be mindful of our heart, so we can open up to receive the galactic rhythm of the universe. So she's tuning us in. That's what the drum kind of does. And the frame itself is our link to the trees, depending, trees carry all different kinds of frequencies and vibrations. They assist us into the lower realms for the journey through the rooting system, and so much more, right? And into the upper through the branches. So I would say sit with a tree, get your drum out if you have one, even a rattle will work. But the skin, mine is reindeer hide from the shamans in West Taiga of Mongolia. So it's just this powerful energy of the animal world and the kingdom of that. So when we strike the drum, it's the powers of thunder, among other things, the earth. I actually saw myself envision that I was grabbing the earth like a blanket and shaking it like a rug. So things hidden under the rug were being revealed, and things sticking to her were flying into the sky, all of the toxic debris. It was actually pretty cool in all, and I was like, I'm just patiently waiting. So it's like going to be receiving some humbleness from some peeps out there. The drum really invites us to be in a trance-like space and place, a time of giving things time and space, a state where healing and prophetic things can happen. So it's a message to really step into our skin, be bold in our journey. Our journey, it's like the forces of heaven and earth are really in alignment, just supporting us with effortless action. And it's not a time to push against the threads of the river, the conscious river streams. Instead, to really go with the current, go with the flow, let the waters take us exactly where we need to be. And just our intention really is to act on it and really not piss on the treasure before us. Be excited for a wild ride and enjoy the journey. The outcome is the magic really on the other side. And call in your inner courage and allow the rhythm of the drum to really carry you through the seasons, the places, the spaces that are essential in your own personal threads. It's kind of the message there. But on the elemental highway, I can honestly say I'm getting over this. I'm like, please, could we get to the Chinese New Year? However, I'm overthreaded with all of this earthen energy as well. But today we have a Yin Metal Snake, a Xin SI. But the Yin Metal on the stems is all friendly. There's no scratchiness there. There's non-abrasive. It's refined. It's supported by the earth. The heavens are. And our snake has hidden or in storage Yang metal and the dreamy eyes of a snake. It's the yin fire. And yin fire to yin metal is power. However, it's unrefined power. It's the energy of corruption. However, there isn't enough of it to do much of anything. Possibly negative thoughts on the highway. So if you're born between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m., that's the energy of the snake. It's concerned with perfection. You might find that you worry a lot. You can kind of massage your feelings, if you will, with sugar, especially when you feel attacked. And you kind of need to feel that you have the approval of the group wherever you go. And oftentimes, way too often, like a real snake, if you will, you feel rejection, even if it isn't there. It's in those threads, right? But the snake has problems with bonding, true bonding. They can slither away if they feel rejected, to the extent that they didn't feel loved as a child. Love is a thing, right? So you turn to the sugar bowl for the comfort. So the perfectionist inside of you has this need to be right. So you could literally cross your arms in front of you, not paying attention to any counter thoughts. So the snake energy is rooted in denial. And they have certain things that they want, and they can sacrifice other things to actually get them. And then they kind of mope around or pout or kind of bemoan their fate that they put themselves into, actually. And they're not getting this or they're not getting that. But in reality, your subconscious is happy just the way it is. So being perfect is sometimes more important, but creating this perfect world can really be exhausting to your frequency over time. So with the snake's personality, they get to decide when the relationship starts, when the relationship ends, and how long they're going to endure the relationship. They might complain because they don't have a relationship, or they have a variety of relationships in their life. But then one day they come to this realization that they really are perfectly happy with this on some subconscious otherworldly level. So a lot of people create chaos that they can't control. And it's hard to keep all these plates twirling and spinning at the same time. It's like their own personal circus act. Then they become a worrywart. They're stressed out a lot of the time, just trying to keep their world from falling apart. So, they can be a true codependent, if you will, along with the energy of the sheep, just trying to maintain this perfect facade while their world is literally falling apart on the inside. So, the energy of that is like diabetes is a possibility, diabetics, because it's the sugar, as well as vomiting or muscle spasms. Kind of, those are messages, right? Our body speaks, and even hemorrhoids of all things. However, as a snake, you need to look really hard in the mirror and recognize the person or the people that you've drawn in represents your own personal deepest fears. Your mate could be self-destructive, could be mired down in a sense of hopelessness or bogged down. Your spouse or even a roommate, a romantic partner, they might be eating themselves into destruction or even being addicted to drinking, drugs, and other forms of spiraling into despair. And if so, this could actually bring the snake down even further because to them, it's another form of rejection. So, why aren't you perfect enough to make this person happy or this person zesty? It's kind of your quest for perfection. So you could possibly slip into this space of imperfection yourself to really just justify what you don't have in life. That too is a variation of control. So in your despair, you can become depressed, feel everything's hopeless. How can you keep your world together when these people won't do what you tell them to do? That ensues thyroid issues, kind of embarrassment, and kind of problems with your endocrine system. That can all be a result. So life would be great if people would recognize you as the greatest person that you are, appreciate everything that you do. So you get kind of the accolades that you richly deserve. That's kind of the crowning achievement, like my cute hat. But you can also be afraid of success at the same time, and you'd rather kind of toil or coil up like a snake behind those scenes than be singled out. So with this kind of confliction, you get down, you get depressed, and you mourn the life that you aren't living. So then your depression melts as your stress kind of vibrates higher, increases. So in all of these scenarios, you kind of need to gauge where you fall on the spectrum between being healthy and unhealthy. So a vibrant snake really needs to be open to bond with another and not sense the rejection at every turn of the corner. They need to hang tight and allow the galactic universe to provide the most perfect turn of events, not controlling situations by manipulating them, and having faith in the galactic universe that everything is perfect. The universe really knows what's right for each and every one of us and really is on our side, and just allowing life to kind of present and unfold the perfect solution to all of our situations or problems. But snakes really need to get out and exercise to get out of their own way, in effect, and keeping their spirits optimistic, seeing the bright side of life to really make those brighter choices. And you also need to appreciate the limelight, not shrink away from it, coiling in, and standing in the spotlight, realizing that the heat of the light isn't going to burn you down. It's only going to enhance your life. So it's like the shedding of the skin, like the snake does, shedding of the old skin, letting the true you shine through, just having faith and trusting the universal path. So the energy of the day can kind of feel serious. It can feel heavy. It can really make things appear more important than in reality that they really are. I have Diddy at my feet. Oh, he's laying down. You might wake up or have had this awoken feeling of irresponsibility behind in your tasks. Maybe you felt confused about what to do first, who's on second. So the energy of the day kind of gives us the power to kind of lead ourselves, but sometimes the difficulty comes in the priorities, the prioritizing. So what's important are feelings, rising to the occasion, whether things are over exaggerated or not, but our priority is really to connect with our innate feelings, connecting to our feelings through usually meditation, chanting, journaling, going to an altar, a conversation with the other world, an ancestor, or maybe somebody that you trust. But once we get into that connection field, those streams, we can actually utilize our feelings to kind of balance out those commitments that are placed before us in our threads. So if something's been on your thought processor for the last few days, today's energy, it's going to feel right. So the memo is going to come in to where we can move ahead with our decisions that we actually absolutely feel optimistic and great about. I would say an otherworldly adventure. It's in our heart space. So as we clear through this entangled list, if you will, we're going to feel the pressure of all of the responsibilities kind of dissipate and decline. But in the grand scheme, it's the scheme of what we commit to about our relationship to ourselves. You know, are you being your own best friend? So it's like making a decision to really step away from the negative attitudes or behaviors that we have within ourselves, but in the same breath, really committing to a new way to treat yourself, to vibrate. Whatever we do, it should be heartfelt to our inner self instead of an ego, mental, emotional baggage kind of thing or an approach, bringing our own inner light into our personal enlightenment field. So today, I would observe how you think and treat yourself on the inside and kind of pay attention to those inside voices. Pay attention to the changes that you could commit to doing on the outside with yourself. Yeah, so it's a great day to replace, literally, our negative behaviors, the ones that we can identify, use our feelings to know what's true about those decisions, and go with what our heart believes about ourselves. You could determine what's no longer true, what you no longer believe about yourself to be true, you know? So it's like, what does your heart believe? Not just in yourself, you know? Maybe your home, your body, your car. These are all vessels that we use to navigate the earth plane, our streams. So commit to your frenemy, your inner frenemy sometimes. We're enemies to ourselves instead of friends. But we're up for some major change, some major shifts, and just realize that we probably need it for the entire season. The herb of the day, I'm going with lemon verbena of all things. I don't know why that came in, but lemon verbena, I actually saved it on the screen, but it's this uplifting herbal aroma. It's fresh. It's popular to all fragrances. It's actually been in some cleaning products for our house, but it's this bright, zesty essential oil. You can use it as a personal aroma, fragrance, create your own perfume. You can use it to cleanse the skin, pamper yourself, or even just as a midday pickup. It's similar, I guess lemon in general is what I'm thinking of, is a pick-me-up, right? But remember, I am just sharing information. Do your homework, create. But I sense we are going to go or return to the origin, if you will, the original blueprints for healing what ails us. And plants really are the original medicine, right? But with our third eye online, our boa constrictor, the snake, deep blues, indigos, purples, the galactic hues, and the element of yang nature, a wise tree, the whisper of the winds, kind of within the cards of the day. So nature is for sure an element to be in. Sense, feel, and taste nature. The winds of transformation are really on the highway. Sometimes they appear as gusts. I'm thinking of there's a otherworldly being that creates gusts. But just cleansing out the debris, we really have got this. More is yet to come. Our intuition, our ancient wisdom channel, the sound of silence, the seed sound of Om. I prefer the sound of silence, but I would go with nature, the swishing or the shishing of leaves, the wind. And an affirmation of the day, you know, we're in this elevated frequency. And the energetics, the transcendental, they're otherworldly, actually, the outside subtle energy fields, that's the word I'm trying to say. Those are highlighted, if you will. So really know your inner power, your inner courage, your inner strength. Call into the winds to remove the cluster of the shift show you might be experiencing and just recalibrate the path that is before you. Take a new path. Uriel will light that up, the Archangel Uriel. Take a stand to really commit to your own personal inner garden. We've been cleansing all the things since the ox landed on the month there, all of the things. Cleansing and clearing, emotional, physical, mental, my house, everywhere, spiritual, even the lower, upper and middle realms, and really so much more. So I would affirm that I am in my beingness. I'm vibrating to a higher frequency. I'm taking my personal light to a future forward and just flicking off all the cosmic debris. Let your light shine on. Adversity does not like it when we light up, right? So with all of that, I will see you on the other side, and really vibrate high. Be the light that resides within you. Well. Let's see here. Let's just go there. Thank you.